Morning.
Good morning. What's up, guys?
How we doing?
Good. Did I miss the intro?
Hello? Is anybody this on?
I see him. I can't hear him.
That's it.
Can't hear me?
We're kidding, Sky. How are you?
Everybody, to The Grounds. The Grounds is this show where we talk about whatever we talk about, and it's on Friday mornings right here, 16 Creator Studios. And we've got Mr. Scott Giles, remote all the way from Galena. Good to have you there.
Up in the loft.
Up in the loft. And how's life over there? Over there in the territories.
Over there out west, eh?
Yeah.
It's good. Busy. Got a lot going on. I hurt my freaking arm last week, so I'm not getting a lot done. But it's going good. Beautiful day today so far, which is awesome.
It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's a gorgeous fall day here in spring.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous fall day in spring. I'm just happy I woke up this morning.
Breathe the fresh air. That's it. There's Uncle Pete right down there. Uncle Pete's got the Earl. Grab that, copy, paste it right into your URL. Come on in and be part of who we are.
Who are we?
I don't know. And again, what if I do that? What happens if I do that? That goes away, but I still don't see Shayna. I see Shayna down there in the little pieces.
Yeah, I don't have any comments yet.
But good morning. You know what?
Here we go.
Can I run a did she show up here? There she is. Okay, good. So Shayna, cool backdrop this morning. Thank you. No tax on tips or overtime. We're spending that. Were we
spending that bump?
Right. You know what? Last week we talked a little bit about intrusive thoughts. We had intrusive thoughts, Steve. You were absent, and the intrusive thoughts, are those weird thoughts.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And then I was listening to a psychologist, and so what do you do with those thoughts? When a thought comes in, what do we do with those thoughts? Flowers for Shayna. Don, good morning. Good morning, Don. From 70 and sunny Dallas, Fort Worth area. What do you do with it? So a thought comes into your brain.
Okay.
What do you do with it?
Like from start to finish? What happens?
Yeah. Just a thought comes in. What do you do with it?
Usually passes right through.
Along
with the billion others that I'm not fortunate enough to either write down or act upon.
Yeah. So if you decide that you are practicing mindfulness, right? So if you're practicing mindfulness right now in the moment, so we're right here in the moment, what's happening in the moment, what you should really do is allow those thoughts to come in and out of your mind like clouds in the sky. Some of them are big, white, puffy, and beautiful. Some are cloudy and dark and nasty. And we should let them just pass through, right? Unfortunately, what most of us do over the last, I'm going to say 15 to 20 years, is we take them, we put them in the empty plastic butter dish, we put a lid on it, and then we put it we hang on to it like leftovers, and we try to ruminate on them to go. We try to put reason to think, oh, why am I thinking that way, right? So we've gone from a place in life where, hey, these thoughts came and go, let them come and go. But now we save them, and we don't even know what's in those Tupperwares until we open it up, and it's moldy and nasty. And, now we try to analyze, I'm using air quotes, analyze, why am I having a thought like this, right?
Yeah.
And we tuck it in this Tupperware and we hang on to it instead of just let it go, which takes away all the mindfulness. And it's amazing how many people get that thought, and then all of a sudden, you put it in the country crock butter dish and put a lid on it. It's in there. And then all of a sudden we're like, where is that one thought? And now it's nasty and smelly, and it's dumb. Is what it is. And we've become a society, and we've become a group of people that now, instead of just allowing the thoughts to flow like clouds, come in, whether they're dark, rainy, whatever, and pass, we hold on to them.
Yeah. Unbelievably.
Why do we do that now? What's the term?
That's a good question as to why now, right? I mean, I can only speak for myself, and I feel like the older I get, the more that I do actually will hold on to some of those and analyze them. As a kid, I didn't so much care, right? It was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, keep going. As an adult, I think, well, we've talked about this. In some things I'm trying to solve, which there's nothing to solve, right? And you have to realize that, but it's picking the thoughts, I guess, that really are the ones that you should pay attention to, because there's so many that go through your brain that mean jack shit, right? That you should just let go and keep moving on. But as I get older, and I'm assuming this is for a lot of other people too, I tend to look at things a little bit differently and analyze them more instead of just letting them go through as a random thought.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why am I thinking that? I don't know. The sun's up today,
We don't even put them in clear containers. We put them in the old country crock, empty plastic thing, and then we put them in the refrigerator. We don't know what's in there. And when you need butter, you're like, man, where's the butter? Oh my God, this is last week's.
It's got green fur on it.
Yeah. It's like Russian roulette with what's in the plastic in your refrigerator, but we do that with our thoughts now. And I thought that was, to me, as I was listening to this guy, it was very, very interesting and I'd never heard it like that. It's like your thoughts are like clouds, and you're going to look at a cloud and go, oh, look, that's an elephant. And then the next thing you know, you look back up, it's not an elephant. It's just a big puffy cloud. So it changes, but then it comes and goes. You know what I mean? It flows through.
We've had a few episodes where I feel like this is a good explanation for questions that we've asked previously. Yeah. We did one, and this was a while ago. We were sitting right here. We did it on what would drive a person to snap and shoot a bunch of people randomly, right? Yeah. Now, that's the perfect example of a person who never threw away any of those dirty thoughts. They never. Just sat there, and they got old and nasty, and they were hoarded away in that refrigerator. Probably multiple refrigerators and one of those open up ice chests as well, right. With the wrapped up foil. Oh yeah. There's a lot of nasty thoughts, and and then they build up, they make you toxic, they poison you, and then you see somebody act in a way that's just arguably insane. But we talk about what drives somebody to that, and it's like, while I can't relate to that, or I can't understand why you would choose to hold on to those, like I do feel like that is the problem, right? Yeah, you're dwelling on those thoughts yourself, and to a lesser degree, I feel like we've talked about it as just like the world wants to take more offense to things, and so when you hear something negative, you're now more than ever, I feel like people are hold on to that instead of just letting it roll off their back the way they would.
Yeah, you okay, Scott? You gonna be all right over there?
No, I'm in pain today, baby. Let me tell you.
Well, you look like shit, if it's any consolation.
I love you. Here, hold on.
That's
better. Oh,
there you go. Hey, good morning, Tim Santos. Glad to have you with us, brother. And congratulations on getting your first through high school. That's a big accomplishment. Good young man, you should be proud of. Shayna says, have you ever just got on a tangent following an idea and then snap out of it? Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, really, Shayna, is that you have, those clouds come, and they may be fast-moving clouds. They may not be fast-moving clouds. And it's okay to hang on to that cloud and that thought while it passes through.
Yeah.
Now, it may pass, in a couple of days or whatever, but a lot of times after it should be passed, we put it into the country crock and hang on to it, and then we sit there and go, why was I thinking like that? What everything's gotta be analyzed.
Everything has to have I think everything has to have an answer these days. It can't just be something is what it is, right? I mean, back in the day for me, it was just we just kept going, kept moving. Now it's like, why did you do that? Oh, there's something wrong with you. Or a lot of these thoughts that keep coming up, at least for me, are ones that maybe I haven't dealt with. Granted, there's the bullshit thoughts that run through all day long, but there's some for me that might keep coming up on more of a regular basis. And that's something I personally look at and go, why does that keep coming up? Right.
Yeah. But that's what Don is saying. People feed their negative thoughts today. They go searching for validation of negative. And then he says, using Deke's analogy, people go looking for those dark clouds to make them feel better about the following the dark clouds.
Yep.
right? And that's
100%.
I got to chase it down. There's got to be validation.
Which he's not wrong at all, and I don't get why. I mean, chasing a dark cloud. For me, I always try to be as much as I can happy-go-lucky, right? Because I know there's a ton of bad out there, and I know there's a lot of shit going on. So I try to follow the white clouds, if you will, but the black clouds are there and do seep into my process, right? And that's where, for me, like especially the grounds is great because we can talk about these things and understand. Like for many, many years, for me, I felt I was kind of like the only one that was dealing with these type of intrusive thoughts and these things running through your head.
Scott, did we lose you? You there?
You're funny. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I felt very alone for a number of years, thinking that it was only me that was experiencing these questionable thoughts, right? Until I finally got the courage to talk to somebody, and say, hey, dude, I got this shit going. Oh, I get that all the time. This is what I do. And I'm like, for me, that was a huge weight off my shoulders, right? Knowing that it's not only me, even though I still had these thoughts, which we all do, but it was like, okay, it's normal. It's typical. Now, like with you, Kent, you always talk, you're very good with in the moment, right? Being able to stay there. Yeah. That is a learned skill.
So, I mean, the difference between buffalo and cow, Holsteins, is that when there's a storm, so like these tornadoes, these bad storms that have rolled across the United States in the last week, a buffalo will actually walk into the storm because they know if they walk into the storm, they'll get out the other side and there's good weather, right? Cows will turn their back to the storm and sit there and let the storm hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them until it passes. So there's difference, right? So when you see those black clouds, again, a lot of us will turn our back to it or just, put it in the Tupperware dish, put it in the refrigerator for later instead of just letting it pass, right? And trying to face that thought, go, wow, that was pretty dark. And let me think about that and then let it go because the cloud just keeps going, right? Clouds don't necessarily stay, And I think that, when I heard this psychologist talk about that, and I'm a big proponent of mindfulness. I'm a huge proponent of living right now in the moment, right? Drew and I spent a lot of time together, cappuccino, and I probably irritate the piss out of him because I'm like, man, I don't know about tomorrow. I don't even know 10 minutes from now.
He's here in hiding, by the way. Everyone say hey to Cappuccino.
What's Cappuccino?
You might be muted. Are you muted over there?
No, I don't think so. Can you hear me, Scott?
Hey, what's up, baby?
Yeah.
What's up? What's
up? Do we have a witness to Scott losing his? I'm guessing epic or complete exit due to probably yes.
I don't think I've lost my shit.
Just like the white-faced capuchin monkey. He flings it around.
Most dangerous.
Let me put on my spectacles. There we go.
The most vicious.
You like the new? These are my wife's. They look really good, don't they?
Yeah. So Shayna says it's a chemical boost, right? Yeah, it's that fight or flight. I think. When you get to it, roll back up here, programming, intentional or not, is responsible for shaping public opinion. If the opinion is hate, we are influenced. McDonald's girl? Wow. I'm not following the McDonald's girl.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one as well.
But no, it is. And a lot of times we allow that opinion to shape our cloud. It's a nice white fluffy cloud, but because of hate or whatever, I start painting it gray. And that thought, and wait, I can't be happy, or I can't like Drew because he's a this or a that.
That's what most people say.
You know what I mean? Bob, good morning. Glad to have you with us. Doubts are one of the most common types of intrusive thoughts that most of us deal with. And not necessarily just going on intrusive thoughts today, but what do you do with the thoughts when you get them?
So I think it's interesting because if you think about this from a perspective of everybody alive currently on the planet was part of a generation that had a mantra, and that mantra was to let shit go. The Beatles,
Let it be.
From the Beatles to Frozen, and everything in between. There's probably a million things. Let it be, let it roll, let it slide. Let it go. There's all of that. My mom used to say "c'est la vie" all the time, and I used to hate it because I'd be like, "This shit went wrong," and my mom would be like, "C'est la vie," and it's just that's life. And it's like, what? No, that's a horrible answer. And then as you get older,
but it's the greatest answer.
People, you're like, oh, she was right. That just is life. Life happens like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
That mantra that she drilled into my head, we drill this into the heads of children and people. Like, I mean, we've been doing this for years and years and years, decades, trying to teach people to let things go for their own mental health, for their own sanity, for their happiness. And I think it's interesting. It is, we do live in a world where it is much more difficult now than it ever has been to stay in your lane and let things go. But the message never really changed. I mean,
well, letting things go doesn't really exist. It's just, where do you file it? Once it's in the old noggin, all it does is spin around until you figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
Information in doesn't ever leave unless you have some kind of amnesia or, dementia or something. But once it's there, it's all about what you do with it. And for me, everything's gray. All crowds are gray. There's no, you always have to have a yin with the yin, man. There's always good and bad.
Yeah.
So if you have a filing system, I always say, put it on paper, put it down somewhere, reflect back to it if you need to. Even those dark clouds are educational. It's just about how you perceive it.
They certainly can be educational if you're spending that time to be introspective and actually
it's a mindset. It's a mindset.
100%.
If you can train your mind to look at things from an outside view, then you're able to utilize all your clouds as a tool to better your life.
Yeah.
If you have a good filing system, that's what I tell my daughter, hey, you got to have a good filing system. If you could do that, then you can always reflect back to that and then realize how many good white clouds you got versus the dark ones. And you can see how some of those white clouds will fix the dark clouds. And then you created a new cloud of some kind. It's about what you do with it, man. The filing system in your brain is very complicated. It's the most technological computer in the world is your brain.
Sure.
It could be your worst enemy or it could be your best friend. The guy that stares out of the window and drools in a cup could be the happiest guy in the world. You just don't know because what's going on in his head, So I think it's all about perspective, mindset.
Well, weirdly enough, I mean, the process you're describing is something that I've actually attributed it to Kent a bunch of times. Zen. That's what you're describing. You're describing allowing those thoughts in, finding a balance within yourself, letting go the unnecessary, keeping what you can learn from, and then going about your day with a sense of peace and well-being. That's just accurately processing the world around you. The Zen.
Right.
Very rarely do I very rarely meet people that come across that with that level of chill. You do have a very chill level. No matter what's going on in your life. You're like, hey, did you hear this thing? And it's like, hey, that's pretty shocking, big news. And you're like, yeah, nah, tomorrow.
Whatever.
Years. And it's like, yeah, no, that's pretty Zen. I mean, it's pretty
I mean, inside he might be like, who knows?
Right. But
he deals with it. I think on the surface, everything underneath is also the same, right? He's very accepting, right? I think one of the comments that your dad made to you and you've shared with me was get comfortable with doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
So when you're comfortable doing nothing, well, your brain technically, when you're doing nothing, is probably more active than it normally is, right? So when you're doing nothing, you're able, I think, to be able to just let those clouds flow through, right? Yep, don't have to worry about it. Yep, don't have to worry about it. Or I can't do anything about it. I'm just going to move on. It's not the right time. It's not the right place, right? It's getting that Zen to know when you should focus, when you should try something, or if you should even bother at all.
After 3 years of marriage, Alice is tired of hearing me say that. Hey, I'm just doing what my dad told me to. Nothing. Off, you idiot.
Yeah, the hard thing about
kill your dad for that one, honey.
Our generation and up, when we were younger, we were constantly we were too busy to have issues.
Yes.
We were constantly trained to stay busy. But now that we're older, we don't know how to relax. We don't know how to do nothing, because when you're doing nothing, you're feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you hit that one on the button. Damn.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right. So that's training as a kid, for me, especially with my parents, and you woke up, you had a list of chores before you went to school. You got home, you had another list of chores.
Yeah.
Then
Before
it was
you
you do
go
your
out and play,
homework.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was always something going on.
What do they say?
I sit down and they're like, "Oh, just relax." I'm like, I don't know how to do
But a
that.
lot of people call that anxiety.
Well,
like I know my wife has anxiety. I know that when it comes time for like Sunday morning and she's got nothing planned for the whole day, she's gonna sit there paralyzed with indecision because she knows she should be actively
she gets
doing
paralysis.
something. So and it's because she was her whole life trained that you do not sit still and do nothing ever.
Yeah. Shane is like, the big flex is allowing others to do nothing. And she says, "Hey, Cap, that is truth. You can feel." Dang, straight wisdom from the grounds.
Oh,
there it is.
That's all we hope to give, right?
Guilty. I won't read the rest. No. I'm guilty of feeling guilty when doing nothing. Needs to have mindset that doing nothing is something. That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
If you don't take care of your body will tell you when you have to take a break, and sometimes it's putting you in the hospital, right? I mean, you go, but then your body's like, guess what? Boop, boop.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
System failure.
Time to relax and time to chill, right? Sure.
But to me, it really hit hard when he said that, because I had never thought about thoughts that way. Right. I mean, if you're really trying to practice mindfulness or that Zen, living in the moment, it's just, there's that thought, and you let it go. And then that's when the image of all, you come to my house and, we've got all the butter bowls and leftovers and nothing's written on top of it. So you're like, well, here we go. Oh, that one's been in there for a while. And you know what we do as men? We put the lid back on and set it back in there. It's like, here, put that. We don't throw it out. We're just like, yep, nope. We'll leave that alone. Let's
save that for another day.
Put it in there. I don't know what it is. It's not my job to throw it out.
Right. Yeah.
What if it was being saved for something? I don't.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna hold it because someday we're gonna figure it out and solve it potentially, right? Which is so stupid.
Fuzzy.
That's
I know nobody's gonna eat it.
Well, because I mean, half of probably 3/4 of that stuff that come through that we save in what Kent you're calling the butter dish, just be buried, dead, and gone. Right?
Yeah, just be gone.
For whatever reason, we decide we want to hold on to it and think about it more and more and more, and then it distracts us more and more and more from actually enjoying our lives, enjoying what we're doing at this point.
That's what it is.
Brought Scott down.
Yeah, you might want to adjust your screen, and his right boob is a little saggy.
Yeah, Don. He calls it a back support harness, but we know
that's right.
I tore my arm up. I can't even. I'm in so much pain right now. It's crazy.
Last round it was a dog fight.
Right.
What did you do this time?
Hey, see that?
Yeah, that still doesn't look good.
No, it's great. It looks a million times better. But no, I was being a nice grandpa and moved a piano for my grandkids, and it didn't agree with my shoulder.
And for those of you out there wondering, his grandkids are like 4 and 2.
Yeah, they're learning to play the piano now because of me. Got to start them young. Get that brain working.
That brings us to our live read of the day, Piano Trends, here at pianotrends.com. If you're looking for an instrument or a piano, get 3, stack them like dominoes. Piano Trends here, local to
Steinway's.
Crystal Lake. Steinway's. They carry just about everything this episode is brought to you by.
Well, they got the big 9-foot Steinways, big, beautiful Steinways down
there. Music suits the inner beast, right? I mean, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Music can also help us get through a lot of different things in the world. Like, Steve was talking earlier, a lot of the songs, right? Like, don't let it go, let it be.
Well, and Bob, I'm not even talking about intrusive thoughts anymore. I'm just talking about everyday thoughts, right? I mean, the worst thing you could ever do with me, because I do like being in the moment, is drive with me, because people are fucking idiots. And I don't understand how we don't understand that the go pedal's on the right and the fast lane is on the left. So I don't have rage. I just have, I hate stupid drivers, and Northern Illinois is full of them, right?
Yeah.
Full of them.
United States.
And I'm just
Anywhere
like,
you go, really.
yeah.
Well, most of them are in the United States, for sure. But at driving rage, I'm the same way with you, Kent. I just get out of the way, do your thing, turn left, turn right, go straight, just keep moving.
and, and
don't make it harder than it is.
And for the love of all that is human, and just stop reading text at a stoplight. Just it turns green, and you're sitting there like, would
Ready
you
to hit the horn?
Yeah.
How many seconds do you give them before you hit the horn?
Yeah, I don't look. I'm like, get it going, because the green light for me means the race is on. So
that's right. Let's go.
Bob says Beethoven started when he was 5 years old. Billy Joe began at 4, and both Mozart and Sir Elton John hit the keyboards when they were only freaking 3.
Freaking 3 years old. He almost said a swear word this morning. Go, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
You got
nothing about, hey, listen, we got like 2 or 3 pianos over here that need moving to, Scott.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
Strap on your girder.
Yeah, get that out.
Back support harness on.
Got that back support harness on. Let's go. Let's go.
funny.
Yeah, so for me, you know, I don't I mean, I've got a lot of Tupperware dishes too, right? But I tend to clean them out pretty quick when it comes to thoughts, right? And my clouds move pretty quickly, and that's what you would call ADHD. Like, oh, look, a squirrel. Oh, an elephant. Oh, a rain cloud. Oh, you know, and it drives people crazy sometimes, you know, because I could be looking Drew right in the face, and he'll be talking right to me, and I don't have any idea what he's saying.
Yeah,
right.
I've seen those moments.
You know,
and he's looking through me. He's not looking at me.
And then I'll catch myself like, I think he's been talking for the last 3 minutes. I'm like, wait, could you say that again? I totally wasn't.
The voice inside his head is like, okay, I don't know what he's saying. So on the count of 3, nod.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
time to
nod.
smile and nod. Ah, buddy, yeah, of course.
Right.
Brilliant idea.
Right. You want to see Kent go into deep thinking. Kent is a driver. Get some window time in a car with Kent, and he stares out that window. If that song comes on, that right song, he's in the video.
That's right.
You can see the wheels are turning, and then out of the blue, he'll turn it down. He'll say things like, "So I was thinking about a handy cam." Wait, what?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Oh shit!
You know?
I was going to bring that yesterday. Well, there you go.
So you can see the wheels turning. With me, the clouds move at a medium pace. I'm a little bit of both, but I also have the clouds that trail slow. Those are the torturous ones. Those are the ones that I'm like, all right, already, right? And sometimes those slow clouds are the song that you can't get out of your head.
Earworm.
You're like, oh my god, I'm dying over here. But I try my best to not focus so deep into the future or the past. I try to utilize those as tools for the present. So, excuse me. When it comes to this show, it's a good show to get it out. Yeah. Let it put the cards on the table. And then a bunch of people get to hear you. They might know you, they might not. There's no judgment. You don't really care if there is. And then you're able to move on with your day, get through the weekend, and start it all over again. Yeah. Right.
Like one of the clouds that rolled through my brain today was I had an incredible dream last night, and I had a buddy from high school in there. And have you ever thought of just like, I should call him and see if he really was in my dream?
No.
Be like, were we on a different plane? Because it was so real, right?
I do that all the time. If I have a really good dream about somebody, I'll be like, hey, anything going on in your life related to X, Y, or Z? And if they're like, no, I'm like, my dream was wild.
Right.
Way off. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He speaks Italian. Che se dice, te caris.
There you go. The biofield, known as the aura to my kind, extends around us, and it is affected by the energy thoughts others have. Being trapped with unregulated people's moods, a room after an argument feels heavy, trapped in traffic. Yeah, yep. Same way, man. I very empathic. I love energy. Like if I can't watch the videos where people are like wiping out on a skateboard or something because I feel it. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I tense. I'm like, oh.
Same reason I don't watch people getting all angry and worked up at each other.
Yeah, same reason I don't watch porn.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He gets the same reaction as when he watches somebody wipe out on a skateboard.
Right.
It's fine. That's why
He doesn't watch it
skateboard videos.
He doesn't watch it because he's in it.
But yeah, that's why I say you can walk into a room and you're just like, they call it that intuition or whatever. But it's
I hate that part of what I have is I can feel that energy, like walk in and it just absorbs and it's like, ugh. And that's where the people pleaser, the person in me that wants to help somebody else, comes out because you can feel that. And it's like, it's just draining as shit to me. Right. Because it's coming in there. And then if I don't do anything, I'll start getting, it just drains me with other people, with their negative energy or their bad energy, if you will. And I don't know how to, I'd love to know how to stop that. Honestly. I mean, it is tough when you walk into a room, at least for me, not to absorb what's happening. I would love to walk in and just be like, nope, don't feel shit. How you doing? I mean, keep it simple.
If you want to get through that, you feed the energy. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You go in with your energy, and if you battle it out with theirs, then you have to win that battle. You just put your energy for them to absorb it and make the room right.
I try, but people tell me I got too much going on. You know what I mean? It's like, relax. I'm coming in hot, so to speak. You know what I mean? Trying to bring my energy to the situation, to change it to the better. And
which is exhausting. I mean,
it is exhausting.
Yeah. But I mean, those are your only three options. You either go in the room and let it negatively affect you. You go in the room and you bring your energy and affect it, or you don't go in the room.
Right. Or you leave the room.
That's I mean, but one way or the other, I mean, it's just, and that's a great metaphor for life as well, because sometimes you don't have the choice. You just have to react.
Yeah. I like where Shane is going with that. It's not people pleasing. It's transmuting energy. Exhausting, but often rewarding. Yeah. So the deal is, Scott, when people say you're coming in hot, you're going in trying to change the energy of the room instead of just being your energy. Right. So I won't try to change the energy of the room, but I'm not going to take on the negative energy. And then people will naturally draw towards the better energy.
9 times out of 10, that's true. And, listen, if it isn't, then, you have those options. Like Steve said, you can either leave it. I use it as fun. I go in.
Oh, yeah.
If there's negative energy, my mindset's like, at least my day isn't like his today.
Game on.
Right. It could be worse for me. He's having a bad one today, right? So if you could see it that way, you guys sometimes you got to step outside of yourself to kind of see read the room, and figure out what's what. But there's some days where I'll run into a personality where I'm like, not today. And I'll just turn around and go somewhere else. That you don't have the energy for it. So
dispensing it to the worthy. Absolutely. Not all want to change. It's a discipline. Yeah, and if you like that, then that's good. And Don says, sorry, but I like to annoy people who are being negative. Just being positive does that. Yeah. I'll poke the bear. I like to poke the bear about.
Yeah,
but I mean, and that's those thoughts, right? The thoughts of, oh, I'm coming in, and sometimes, when we try to change that energy or be a quote unquote people pleaser, is we're taking those thoughts and instead of letting them go through, we're packing them in,
Yeah.
And it usually ends up turning out probably being worse than it really could be, right? Than just letting it blow through.
Yeah.
I appreciate a lot the fact that, through the grounds and through you guys, I've been able to grow, if you will, in that respect and understand things a little bit better and deal with them better. Because it's a learning process for everybody, and understanding for me, like I said, I thought for many years I was the only one doing that. It makes it that much easier to change and to adapt, knowing that you're not the only one. It doesn't make it it doesn't stop it, but it makes it a little bit easier knowing that that's just something that we all deal with, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's one of those things, Scott, that if you feel like you're the only one, no matter what it is, feelings, certain kind of pain, somebody else has done it.
Oh yeah.
Out there, you're never alone in that. You know,
there's no original thought.
I would have to say that you would always feel like you're that kind of special, but you're not.
Right.
You know,
I wish I could say I was that special, but see, I didn't know that, right? Like, because these are things that most people don't talk about, or don't, you know, it's not something you'll sit around with your buddies and share as a young kid, right? Because if you were to say the thoughts that you're having, you'd be like, oh, you're just a big baby, or, you know, a complete wuss or whatever, instead of going, oh, I've had that too. You know, what I deal with that is because as kids, you don't want to feel weak, you know, or someone that to have the perception that you're a weak individual, instead of being the fact that you are a real individual going, yeah, I'm having issues and this is how I feel. And your buddy can go, oh my God, that's right, I did too. You know, this is how I dealt with it. But instead, for me growing up, it was like, oh God, you know, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Just keep moving.
Over there, what's happening?
He was using his bad-handed gesture.
He was.
I know it doesn't work very well.
No, you're gonna have to use the blind date tonight.
That's right.
That's your beer holding hand.
That's right.
I don't drink beer, but you know what it's holding. See how big it is?
Yeah.
Are we still talking about the show? What's
Must
that?
be a small animal. I don't know.
So
Those are my intrusive thoughts for the day.
off center of our discussion, yesterday we had a show, Pause Podcast. If nobody's seen it, I recommend watching that. Nicole is awesome. We had a giant macaw bird in studio, along with 5 kittens.
I don't think Ket wasn't there.
To feed the macaw.
Oh, just birds.
I sat here and I was like, if Kent was here, he would be out of his mind.
Nope.
Yeah, he would have left really quick.
The first thing this girl says is, oh, he's taken chunks out of me before. And I was like, awesome. Thanks for keeping it on a leash. As it's bouncing around on the table, looking directly at me from a distance. And I kept looking at Nico and I'm like, I'm using you as a human shield.
He was ready for dinner.
It
was a beautiful bird, though. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It was a gorgeous bird.
A beautiful bird is one that's been in the oven for a few hours. A few times, golden, and I put and sliced.
And I mean, listen, she owns a sanctuary, and she's about her birds, and she does obviously know that we're the bird killers here at 216 Creator Studios. Ask the corpses that lay outside the door from breaking into the studio. But she comes with these kittens too. And her husband came, Scott came, and he was like, I'm like, what are the kittens for? He's like, the bird. I was like, oh my God. It was horrible. Horrible. But it was a fun day. But yeah, Ken, you would have lost it, man, if you saw that.
Awesome. No, I would not have been here.
Have you seen the videos of Kevin Hart when they surprise him with animals?
No.
Oh, he loses his mind.
Yeah.
That's what you reminded me of. As soon as you're like, I would have lost it. Like every time they even hint, like it could be like a cute little fuzzy one or like a snake or a bird, and he loses it. But that's what it made me think of.
No, a snake I'd be okay with, but birds I don't do.
Everybody's got to have some irrational fear, buddy.
Those dirty dinosaurs. What are they doing flying around?
Yeah.
Dirty dinosaurs. I love it.
And they walk like they're in a 70s disco. I don't know.
So in other words, a parakeet is not a good gift for you.
Nope. Unless it's barbecue.
Yeah, it wouldn't make good eating.
Well, we got a guy in Texas. You send him all the birds, and then we'll make a trip.
That's right. Get him down there. So Shayna says, I met with Lisa once, and she asked if I believed in God. Of course I do. Do you believe that He always has you in His grace? Surely. Then she said, just you? It's easy to stay in my lane. Gotta unpack that for me a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I kind of get it.
So
Yeah. Birds, I'm with you. Yeah. But that's the other thing too. I mean, you never heard that. Gen Xers never heard that. Hey, let's unpack that a little bit because we let shit flow. And now we've got, let's let's unpack. Oh God, let's unpack that. You know,
You ate that up.
I
No
had
crumbs.
If I had a dime for every person I met that was like, well, I took a psychology course in college, so like I'm basically an expert. And it's
Oh,
like,
God.
yeah.
right.
I
No,
think
Those people.
let's get real introspective then.
Everybody's quick to diagnose too. Like, they're schizophrenic, bipolar.
I put those people
What?
right with the guys that want to hand me a Bible through my front door after knocking 3 times. I can't deal with it.
What's wrong with that? You don't like the Bible?
Well, I don't mind the Bible.
He doesn't like free ones being given to him at his door.
Knocking on my door. Right behind him is the guy who says I need a new roof.
I actually
Put them all in one category.
That's why you're like, oh, okay. Does your God save people? Like, yeah. Anybody? Yeah. Have him save me a hooker for next weekend, would you?
Oh, nice. Nice. All the hate mail can go to
They'll
Ken
leave.
Jones at 216.
Yeah, right.
And make it a trans because that's even worse.
Nice.
Wow, these are not the thoughts of 216 Creator Studios, are they, Drew? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah. I like that then, Shannon. Yeah, only I'm held by God, not the people I have attempted to save from their lessons.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, that's the force, right? And let may the Schwartz be with you.
That's right. It's just as valid.
Yeah.
Really.
So yeah, I'm with you there. And that's why I love the people who come to is only you can
There we go.
only the
Make it
There
right.
you go.
There we go.
there's Yoda. Now we're good.
yeah.
Yoda has spoken.
I love people like, hey, I'm gonna make you a believer. Now there's only one power that can make you a believer.
Yeah, you got to have
It
midichlorians.
ain't you. Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Shane. I think I know I've been there. Absolutely. Tastes like chicken.
Had my buddy
That must
in
be all the
town.
birds that we're
Yeah.
going to send, right?
So let me ask you guys this. I know, Kent, generally how you deal with your clouds, right? Your thoughts. Does anybody use like a journal that writes them down and like revisits them, or do you write them down in the journal just to like get them out of your head? Because I know for me, writing things down will more solidify them, right? Other than just blowing through my head. If I write something down, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm going to, remember it. It's going to be put back in my brain. So if I write something down, let's say it's a bad thought or something that's not a bad thought, but an intrusive thought that really doesn't mean anything for me. If I write it down, it's easier for me to analyze it and go, yeah, that's bullshit. Don't need to think about it and move on.
That's putting it in Tupperware.
Is that writing it down?
Yeah, right. Let me hang on to that thought forever.
Yeah, I mean, literally writing it down forever. But also, if it's your way of processing it, it depends what you do with it.
Well, that's what I'm asking. If you're writing it down, you're saying it's putting it in Tupperware. But I'm saying, don't you feel like if when I'm writing it down, if I write something down, that it allows me to evaluate it maybe a little bit deeper and move past it instead? Because some you have to actually evaluate.
As we were discussing before, I think when you write it down, your brain feels like you have it somewhere, that you don't have to constantly think about it because you can always revisit it, or you can burn it, or you can do whatever you want with it, whatever works for you. I think everybody falls a little bit different to that. But journaling is always to me, it's always a great way to go. If you have way too much going on in the old noggin, put it on paper, put it down. If you can recite all this stuff from your head, but you can't show me a list of 10 goals, there's an issue, right? You put a list of, when you write something down, you're measuring it. That means you care about it.
That's generally the only things I end up writing down are metrics-based things that come into my head, and I want to make sure I write this down so that I can circle back later and either accomplish a task or do something personal to attain growth in a specific goal. But yeah, usually when I'm making lists, it's just to keep my mind focused when I'm trying to focus, not so much to get like intrusive thoughts or negativity out.
Well, and two, when you're even with good thoughts, your brain starts, it's a lot of horsepower you need to keep all these thoughts going. What are you going to do with them all? When your pool strainer fills up with leaves, less water gets in. Take some of it out, put it somewhere, right? That way you're able to manage a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
Live a little happier.
Do you find it hard to buy gloves?
Yes.
Yeah, you got really big hands.
Yeah, it's just weird. No, I was doing some work at my mom's over the weekend with 3
I was just looking at his paws and when he was talking. I'm like, good Lord, it's got to be hard to buy gloves for them hands.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Gloves don't really fit.
It's just a cloud passing through.
But I can
Squirrel.
Yeah.
I can still make a fist, and get most yard work done. Works out.
Yeah. They're huge.
I don't know where this is going, but I don't think I
That's
want to
just-
know.
That's the cloud. That's
Boy,
the cloud that
he's
ran
got
through
the
my
big
brain.
hands.
Cover your face.
With Sam not that long ago, and this woman was like, I got introduced to her because it was a buddy's birthday, and it was his bar, and he's like, "Oh, this is Crazy Kathy," and then she walks by, and I was like, "Hey, Crazy Kathy," I'm like, "That's weird. I don't feel comfortable calling you that." I came up later, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I never I hope that is your real name, like Kathy," and she's like, "You have," she like grabbed him, and she's like, "You have the biggest hands," and she's like doing this. Sam's behind me, she's laughing so hard. Everybody at the bar is just laughing, and she's just like, look at this. She's like pulling everybody up. She's like going like this.
She was having intrusive thoughts about your hands, Steve.
More than one person said that to her, though, so it was a good time.
You know what? I like what Don said, jumping back off your hands, though. He said, well, Bob said too, but by putting it down on paper, we separate them from our internal mental process, allowing a more objective perspective. And I think that for me is, if I put it down on paper, I'm not trying to rationalize it, but it'll make me think about it a little bit different manner. Because if it's in my head, it blows through. There's something there, right, that maybe I need to address, and some I don't. The ones that you write down, I think, are the ones that are important, maybe to address. Other than just that, cloud buzzing right through. But there's
I mean,
coming up.
Even let's talk detectives. They put a board up, right? And they put all this important information on this board, and days and months they trying to link everything together. But now they don't have to do it in their head. They have a visual, and they'll stand there and stare at it until a different perspective pops in. They go, "Oh, wait a minute," and then they start connecting it with the string. I don't know if they still do that.
Yeah, they do.
But,
I watch it.
I mean, that's
Pretty sure it's dry erase now.
there's no difference than you putting or journaling your stuff down. And it's got, you're like, I got this thought in my head where I got to clean that bathroom. You might not write that down because that's pretty easy to remember. But if there's a thought in there where you're like, I don't know, and I don't have the time to analyze this right now, I should probably put this somewhere. And then you can go through your journal and start tackling them if you want, when you have that kind of time and space, right? I think that's kind of important for anybody to do. Everybody's got their own niche, though. Everybody knows their own what works for them.
Shayna, have you had a moment when someone's comment makes you see reality as it is? It's unnerving. Just about every week on this show, Shayna, reality always pops in, and you're usually the one who does that to me. So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah,
absolutely. For me, I don't care. I don't care why I think what I think. I don't understand my brain, right? I don't try to. I don't understand the human mind. I don't try to.
No.
Right?
Do you really not care, or do you tell yourself you don't care so you don't have to deal with it?
No, I really don't. I mean, I really don't.
Because 90% of the world will do that. They actually do care.
Yeah.
But they're picking and choosing what they care about. Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's been times where, I sat in the storm, I was very depressed and things of that nature. I get it. Right. But I've worked very hard to be very mindful, right. To live in a space of mindfulness. And it works for me. People will be like, hey man, you're pretty chill about this. And I'm like, I've talked to friends, I talked to Winks, about me being let go from work. And he's like, what, man, I'm pissed off. Up. And I'm like, God's timing's never wrong. Yeah. Right. I mean,
do you not care based on the situation and the severity of it?
No, I mean, I'm not to analyze my thoughts, right? They come and they go. It's like a dream. When you have a dream, do you analyze your dream? Some people do. I don't. I'm like, that was a weird dream. I was running around in polka dot bikini.
Sure.
Sometimes I try to remember
water to people while I was walking my car on the sidewalk. I don't, you know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not like, what does that mean?
let me rephrase this. Okay, so when you were let go, you lost your job, right? You're like, well, and you already had an agreement into that where it was like, hey, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Yeah. That's great. Let's just say next week you lose your right hand.
Yeah.
Are you not going to care?
It depends how badly it hurts, right? But at the same
hard to say until it happens.
You're missing it now, forever.
But at the same time, I don't know the storyline that I'm on or the reason that I lost it, but there would be a reason that I lost it, right? And life's an adventure to live. Now I got to live it left-handed. I mean, the most uncomfortable thing at that point is going to be wiping my butt because I don't do that left-handed.
Yeah,
interesting.
Right? I mean, you'd be learning.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or
it would be awkward.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a different lean. It's a whole different thing.
No,
they make devices
lean into the other side. Yeah,
I'd have to get a bidet.
Those are fun.
But to me, it would be like, all right, let's see what this adventure is about. Not. I mean, there'd be times where, I'd go to do this and I'd hit it with my stump and be like, oh shit, forgot, don't have it.
Okay, so you're finding whatever so we take it one step deeper, right? You lose a loved one. Say it's your child.
Yeah.
All right. Is that mindset going to stay the same?
And that's a hard one for me to answer because I haven't.
Correct. Well, you've never lost your right hand either. Right. It's easier when it's the daily stuff.
Well, sure. Right. I've got friends whose kids have died, and I mean,
God forbid, that's horrible.
Yeah. No parent should ever have to go through that.
They should never outlive their children.
And so that would be a tough one for me to answer because that's a whole different level of pain. That's a whole different level of energy that's gone from, because you're always connected to your kids no matter where they are. Spencer's, he's been on the other side of the world, and I still feel that connection, right?
Absolutely.
And that energy.
They're everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So to answer that now, I don't think I could, honestly, because that's a whole different depth of.
I just wanted to see how far that would go.
But then there's also that perspective, right? Anything short of that is not that, and therefore grateful. Right. It's not that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So like the hand isn't losing your kid.
Correct.
So losing a job isn't losing a kid.
Or your hand.
And like, like you walked it back. And so you found something that is genuinely like a horrible experience. And it's like, I don't know what I would do with that, but I know what I would do everything up to that, which is compare it to that and be a little bit grateful.
I think the brain, I think you're only allowed to control your brain up to certain degrees of pain. And when it really hits to those emotional levels, it takes over no matter how hard you try. That's why I was creating the pain levels, right? Because I mean, listen, look at what we really take for granted. We look out of two eyes. We can hear, we can, we're not wheelchair bound. I mean, it's life's good, really.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You can go home, you can lift up the handle on a faucet, water comes out of it. You're doing okay.
A lot of the things that we take for granted every day, right?
Yep.
Things that, are part of our lives and expected. And you don't realize, how great they are until you don't have them or the use of them. I could not fathom ever not having my child, right? Losing a child, losing an arm. I get, I don't want to say I've thought about it, but I've thought about it, right? I mean, would I still be able to function? Yes. Would it be difficult? Yes. It's a possibility that I've thought about. Losing a kid is not a possibility that I've thought about because to me, that's just gut wrenching and tears me up inside to even think about that. That's a thought that I prefer to push off and let that cloud blow by me because that would be just a completely different storm in my life that I don't think I'd want to weather.
Yeah. Those are challenges that if you can push them aside, you'd be like, if that ever happens, I'll deal with it then. I don't want to.
Well, there's certain things and certain challenges that I bring into my life by what I've chosen to do, right? And then I deal with them. There's certain things in our lives that are brought in that we have no choice whatsoever that we have to deal with. And those are the things that are probably the hardest because you have no control over them, right? And you have to acknowledge it in one way or another, right?
Yeah, you get some good cannabis lotion to rub on that shoulder.
I've tried, dude. I went to the doctor. I've got pain medication and it's not even touching it.
Yeah, rub it on the shoulder.
On the shoulder.
Oh, that was where I'm supposed to rub it.
Yeah.
Shit. No, they gave me medication that's not even touching the pain, dude. It sucks.
I'm so sorry you're going through that. Sucks, bro.
That's all right. At least it's my left. I can still do my social agenda.
There you go. I don't know what that means.
Heil
That's
Hitler?
weird. Is that
My girlfriend.
There's a lot of jerking off. Yeah.
Left hand don't work so well.
Don't bring a black light.
That's right. Do not bring the black light in.
All
Yeah,
those kids don't cost extra.
That's right. Come in during the day.
And you too, Don, with the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Knee, the shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, I think
recovery on the knee.
We'll build him bigger, better, faster, stronger. He is now.
Well, I think for me, I just want to say one thing with you guys, and really just thank you and everybody that enjoys our show every Friday because
Or
it's
puts
you.
up-
What's that? Or puts up with it? Yeah. Well, because you guys and all of our viewers have actually helped mold and change my perspectives on a lot of things in life, which I am grateful for because you guys actually talk. We talk, right? These are things that we probably wanted to talk about a lot of our lives and never could for whatever reason, embarrassed, whatever the reason you're not bringing it up, So I thank everybody out there for coming and joining us and talking about it.
Scott, over there in Galena, there's probably one of these, but Shayna says find a vagus nerve specialist.
Yeah.
That's not the same as the G spot, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
No, I know what the vagus nerve is. We've already massaged it, but thanks, Shane. I appreciate that.
The G spot. You'll be fine.
The G spot.
Well, in high school, that was my nickname. The vagus nerve specialist.
That's right. I was the V nerve guy.
Listen, we're at that time. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. No matter what it is, I do think that a level of mindfulness is necessary to accomplish almost anything in life. But yes, I did want to circle back and say that, which is the perspective of using the mindfulness does make every situation, whether losing your job, losing your hand, or losing a child, it's different than a victimized mindset or any other mindset. Yeah. To be able to accurately process and understand your own self, your own thoughts, coordinate your thoughts. That's a gift. It's something that not everybody has.
That's true.
And it's much easier said than done because it is a practiced skill. So, it's something I work on all the time. I love seeing people that can use mindfulness to stay Zen because it's like my ultimate thing. I'm trying for that.
That's awesome. Kent?
Listen, this is a huge holiday weekend for us here in the Americas. Take some time to reflect on the lives that were lost for your freedoms. We're still the greatest nation in the world, no matter how whacked out we are right now. Take some time to remember those who gave everything they had. Some parents lost children so that we can do stupid little shows like this and enjoy those types of freedoms. Don't just barbecue. Don't just, go to a parade. But in reality, take a look at the reason that we celebrate Memorial Day. And for all those who are serving, you are heroes to me. I appreciate everything you do, putting your life on the line for me, for my freedoms, for my family. And you got to know that more than anything. So.
Yeah. For me, just remember it's okay to go through tough times. And if you look at that metaphorical mirror, you'll find a way to get through it. And if you can't find the who that can help you with the how on that,
Yep.
It's okay to take guidance. It's okay to ask for help if you need it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why good people meet other good people and good things happen. So, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, ditto to all three of you, especially, Kent, that was the one thing I really wanted to bring up to a lot of people. go out, enjoy the weekend, enjoy your company, enjoy the people you're with, but please don't forget why this weekend we have it, right? Because a lot of people think it's just about partying and sales and, getting together. It really is about memorializing, remembering these people that gave us the opportunity to have the freedoms that we have to do our great little podcast here, right? To be who we are. They gave the life, they paid the ultimate sacrifice, right? Or some of them are still paying the ultimate sacrifice with, mental issues from serving us, right? And keeping us a free America. So I appreciate every one of you, all the people out there. Go out, please, and remember all the people that have died for us and the people that are living that are actually dying inside because of what they did for us to live as a country. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you for tuning into us, and keep sharing the good news, the good word. Go out there, be the change you want to be in the world, please. So just work hard, be nice to people, like, share, and subscribe to Grounds. We appreciate you every day, guys. Thank you.
Hey, if you like what you see here today, make sure you go to that old Google box, YouTube, 216 Creator Studios. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ding that bell for future notifications. Enjoy your weekend, folks, especially for the veterans out there. And listen, if you want to make it a Veteran Day, Roger That Chronicles, 216 Creator Studios, several episodes out there, some of the greatest stories of some of the greatest heroes. We appreciate your time here on the Grounds, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay. So run it by me again. You're thinking of having a podcast, right? But maybe you don't know how to start a podcast, or maybe you don't know what platform to be on. I know. There's a lot. But maybe you also don't know what kind of budget you'll need, right? Okay. Well, how about this? 216 Creator Studios. Ring a bell? Okay, well, here. There you can buy a pre-built show. Or, better yet, you can build your own show. Have all the creativity in the world. And the best part about that, it can be all done within your budget. So, no worries. How about this? Start here. Just go to 216creatorstudios.com. And I guarantee you, they will help you find your voice.